Breakups are often the symptom of problems in a relationship. My workbook series, The Knowledge, is focused on helping you change your life in 4 key areas: retaining the information that I teach, personal growth, improving your relationships, and of course, re-attracting your ex. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about don't tolerate disrespect.
Ever.
Okay, many of you that have been in relationships will tolerate your partner mistreating you, ignoring you, taking you for granted, lashing out at you, ignoring you. The list goes on and on.
The list goes on, right.
If you stay with somebody who continually disrespects you, they're not going to love you. They're going to lose love for you. Because I really think love and respect go hand in hand.
Yes, they do.
And so, if you find yourself in a situation where you're tolerating somebody mistreating you or walking on eggshells just because you love them and want to be with them, you're going to find that that's not going to make them care about you more or appreciate you more. They're going to see you as like something that you're disposable, you don't have feelings, you don't have needs, and they don't invest in you any longer.
How would that mesh with attachment styles?
Well, if you're looking at somebody who is disorganized, you know, they could be good to you one minute and put you on a pedestal, and the next minute you're terrible, you're horrible, you don't care about me, you're not there for me, and they're going to be all over the place, so you're not going to know what to do with them. If you're dating somebody that's anxious, they're going to be terrified when they feel any abandonment, whether that's real or it's imagined.
So they would be much more likely to put up with some craziness because they're very afraid of the abandonment.
That's right. So for those of you that are anxious, you may find yourself tolerating people that mistreat you because you're afraid of losing that person. Yes. You're scared of being alone.
Yes.
And of course, if you're dating somebody that's avoidant, there's a good chance they probably can't handle the level of closeness that you can. So in today's video, we're going to look at a situation where I felt like the person was being disrespected. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to get into this email. Okay? It's from a woman who was in her early 30s, and she was with this guy for 3 years. Now, before she came to me, she was very desperate. She went to at least 4 other people for their coaching.
Oh my.
And I won't get into who or what, but she
But he has a list right there.
I do have the list.
I can see it.
They said, as you can see, I'm desperate and miserable, and please see my replies in your email. Okay, so she was telling me a little bit about this guy's family, and said that his mother likes to find something that's not important to get annoyed with and make it a bigger issue.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. So imagine dating her.
No.
And imagine seeing a mom who did that. You might wind up doing that same thing, making a bigger deal out of little issues because you see your mother do that in her relationship.
With it, right.
Okay, so she goes on to say, growing up, he was looking after by his mother, who beaten him with hanger. I'm guessing English isn't her first language here, so bear with her. Since he was a kid, but she stopped when his height was the same as hers, whereas his dad worked abroad most of his childhood. So mom used to beat him with a hanger till he got big enough, and she said, I better not hit him anymore. He might hit back.
Wow, how awful for him.
Exactly.
And he didn't have dad there to protect him.
Yeah, so...
Oh, poor man.
Now, when they broke up, this is where it gets rough. Mm-hmm. Okay? The things that he said to her, they hurt. They were mean. He said, I don't love you, and I'm not in love with you, and I have no desire to be with you. Mm-hmm. I think you could say that a little bit
Yeah.
more tactfully.
This isn't working for me would be a lot better.
Yeah. He said those I love yous were actually meaning I deeply care about you and I appreciate you.
But that's not what you said.
No. And so now he's trying to rewrite history, right? I mean, who says that? Like, I never meant to say I love you. I didn't really mean that. It just meant I really cared for you.
What do you mean you didn't know that?
Right? He says, I'm not attracted to you anymore physically, emotionally, and sexually because she gained weight and now has a belly, leading to them having less sex. She said she's lost some weight since then. But, I mean, could you imagine someone is saying to you, I'm not attracted to you physically, emotionally, and sexually.
But how incredibly personalized the insults are.
Exactly.
Oh my
It's
God.
cruel.
Terrible.
It feels very narcissistic
Yes,
to me.
it does.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's no empathy.
None whatsoever.
Right?
Oh, if you have feelings, I never did notice that. Yeah.
I'm not sure what she liked about him. I mean...
That would be the first thing you'd ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that to her.
Well, he said he loved her.
Mm-hmm. Well, he says it, but here, let's go on. She says, I cannot find the fundamental feeling with you, and I tried for many months looking for it, but it didn't work out, so I don't want to try it again, and he feels sorry for dragging her this long. He even admitted that I was the best and most wonderful girlfriend he had who understands him very well. Now, how does that line up with him saying he's not even attracted to her emotionally?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
He goes on to say he wants to fix his life and better himself as he's unhappy with his current life and job. And
That's not her fault.
No, and I'm willing to bet there's more to it than him.
I would bet that too.
Mm-hmm. He was in a relationship for 3 years straight. 1 year with his ex-girlfriend before me, whom he broke up with because he didn't love her, and saw her as a very good friend that he cared for, and 2 years with me. So he wants to be single.
He does a lot of caring, but not a lot of loving.
Yeah.
Apparently. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound like he's very loving with the way things that he's saying.
No.
He doesn't want to be in a relationship right now, including me, which that sounds like total BS.
Yeah.
I hear that one a lot. He was feeling trapped and controlled when I told him to stop talking to his female colleague. And there's going to be more to this story, as you can imagine. When they broke up, she said, I cried hysterically and begged. He asked to take a break to evaluate or reevaluate, but they were still together. I met him in person, I cried, but not hysterically, and agreed to his decision after failing to convince him of the problems in the relationship, exempling her neediness, insecurity, lack of discipline to lose weight. She was paranoid and her low self-esteem.
Paranoid.
I'm guessing she was implying that she was paranoid over the other girl,
Right, okay.
but I doubt it was paranoia. I think it was probably instinct.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said he was never properly in love with her, and he's not attracted to her. In fact, he was never attracted to her.
Then what was he doing with her?
Well, I'm glad you asked,
We're
because
going to find out.
the next sentence he says, but the relationship was lovely, so he tagged along.
While letting her think he had made some kind of a commitment. Honesty is not this man's friend either. No.
I knew you were going to love that one.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Margaret didn't see this email.
No.
I knew she was going to love that part.
I really love that one.
I mean, he tagged along like he had
Nothing to do, no responsibility. Could we do that again?
Yeah.
No responsibility.
No responsibility.
None.
He just tagged him along.
Yeah. Along for the ride. Oh, I broke your heart. Oh, yeah.
Okay. He said from the beginning he determined that this relationship will not last long.
Did he tell her that?
Doesn't sound like it to me. I don't like any of this guy's behavior.
No, me either.
Okay? Completely inconsiderate disrespectful, you feel like you're dragging somebody along for years, you don't care, you think the relationship's going to end right away, but then you stay with them, and then you tell them you love them, then you say, no, I didn't ever mean it, then you tell them, I'm not physically, sexually, or emotionally attracted to you.
He doesn't sound like he's modeled himself after Prince Charming.
No, it doesn't. So she asks me, when I asked her what her questions were, she said, our relationship was beautiful, which I'm not sure.
We're not hearing it.
Where it was beautiful because, Margaret, the thing that stood out to me when I was doing this email coaching was that I would think that a relationship might feel beautiful with somebody like this when they're narcissistic. Because in the beginning, they make you feel really good.
Absolutely, and they know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then at the end, they completely devalue you.
Yes, completely devalue you, yeah. And really kind of try to destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know if it was just my gut, but she did send a picture of him, and when I saw it, the minute I saw it, I thought, this guy looks completely narcissistic to me. I don't know if you can...
How can you tell?
I don't know, maybe it was because I saw it after I read the email, but...
Yeah, if it's possible to look narcissistic, this guy does.
Yeah. And so I was really just like, this girl has been, completely disrespected and devalued here in completely unnecessary ways. And it just sent her anxiety through the roof.
And there's something about it, and if you were stupid enough to believe me, why should I apologize?
You're feeling that that's where he's coming from?
Yeah.
Okay. She says, we have so many common things from movies, TV series, conversations, places, foods, and we can converse smart and silly things too. He had holidays together and visited cities with her. Now see, why would he not be at least emotionally attracted to her?
Yeah.
Right?
There was another word back there that I missed.
Oh, it was just where.
Okay.
I left that out.
All right.
No aggressiveness and violence in our relationship. We fought like other couples too, but we never screamed or yelled at each other as we always resolved our disagreements before we went to bed.
And how long have they been together?
Several years, about 2 years. We believed we were an A-team. Now, maybe she believed it, according to him.
Never did.
He
never
thought, this isn't even going to last long, so I don't know what, There was no doubts in my heart that I was his number one priority. We texted and called every day, and we spent time together every weekend. He got a new job in May, and he hates his job, but does it in order to pay the bills.
That's the second job he's hated.
I know he is stressed. Right? I think so.
Yeah.
I know he is stressed, and the new job, in fact, everything he was feeling stressed with his job, and I was there. He hugged and cuddled and said, I'm glad you're here, you made me feel better. Yet again, this is the woman he wasn't emotionally attracted to?
Yeah.
Doesn't add up for me. He met new people, including Ashley.
The colleague, I bet.
You're right. One day in June this year, I texted to see if he wanted to see a movie, as we saw the first one together. He said he can't, as someone invited him to watch a seminar about serial killer minds.
I really like that one.
We like to watch crimes documentary together, and I asked, is it a woman or a man? And he said, it's a woman. But don't worry, she's not pretty. You're prettier. What about no...
Good Lord.
No, of course, she's just a colleague because I love you and I'm just going to go out and see this documentary, but I'll be...
And it's easy to find people who enjoy listening to things about serial killers.
I just find this very odd.
Yeah. I worked in a prison. That kind of makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah?
The serial killer thing, yeah.
She said, I'm not comfortable with this girl, and I'm not happy with this, and he canceled it, but he said, thanks for ruining my evening. You know what? He was up to no good that night.
No, he was up to no good.
Yeah. Since this incident, I became insecure and paranoid with Ashley. My gut feeling telling me that she liked him, even though she knew he had a girlfriend, as they are Facebook friends, and she could see my pictures on there too. I told him to avoid her, as I'm not comfortable, and he said his job doesn't require them to talk professionally, as she is in a different department, although they're on the same floor. We argued as he refused to avoid her, caught by me for still talking to her, and I told him to delete and block her on his Facebook and stonewall her, which he did.
She should have been saying, you can have him.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
Okay. 2 days after we broke up, I checked Ashley's Instagram, where she posted a view from my ex-boyfriend's balcony.
I see. He didn't waste any time, did he?
Certainly didn't. I'm sure he was already seeing her before they were broken up. Okay. I texted him to call me as I needed to ask him something. I'm sure she wanted to grill him. He did. I asked him if he was seeing someone else or ever cheated on me while with me. He said no, never. Yeah, like he's going to admit it.
Yeah, sure.
I asked, did you have someone come over to your house last night? He said, no. I said, I know she was at your flat. And he said, how do you know? I said, I know we broke up and I have no right to ask this, but a day after we broke up, you already invited Ashley to your flat, and that's just not right. The feeling is still raw. He said he was feeling sad.
Oh, poor dear. Over the breakup?
Yeah.
Oh.
Please. This guy was lining her up. He was talking to her. He was actually going to see her behind, he wasn't being forthcoming till you questioned.
Right.
So who knows what's been going on.
He would have seen her, yeah.
And the only reason he didn't go see her is because he made a big fight out of it, right? He was feeling sad, so he invited her to eat pizza and watch a movie. Of course, we knew it happened more than that, i.e. sex. I don't know if she knows that or if he admitted it. I guess she's implying it. The way she worded it here, because she doesn't speak English as a first language, it's tough to quite understand if she knows if they happen or she's wondering.
She knows in her heart of hearts, I think.
I asked him, so my gut feeling about Ashley was right. He said yes. He admitted they were flirting at work, but they stopped. They stopped? I don't think so.
No.
He said Ashley likes him, and I asked, do you like her too? He said yes. I like her too, but right now I don't want any relationship. Okay.
With you.
Yeah. So she wants to know what she can do to get him back.
Oh, heavens.
And she wants to know if it's hopeless. And what to do. She said she already wrote him a handwritten letter, as suggested by someone else. And she attached samples, to which I said, no way. A handwritten letter? This guy was trying to cheat on you and line up another girl while you're in a relationship. Why would you send him a handwritten letter? And who would suggest that?
And why do you want him back?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I haven't heard anything in it for her yet. Have you?
No. I mean, it sounds like some of the relationship was nice.
Yeah, they watched nice movies together. Yeah.
But after, him telling her all these horrible things.
I'm not attracted to you.
Physically, sexually, emotionally. I never loved you. I meant I really cared for you. Like, distorting reality and just devaluing her. And
almost gaslighting her, which is why you're probably thinking narcissistic.
Did you get that vibe?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
It's all about him. She has no need or worth.
She's asking if she should contact him after 30 days. And, she says, I remember his good things, or will he remember my good things that I brought into his life? And, like I took care of him when he was sick. And I'm like, look, the way this guy treated you at the end of this relationship was just completely disrespectful and cruel, if you ask me.
I agree.
Because there's absolutely no reason for him to go into such brutal details, even if it's true. There's no reason to insult her.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if you care about somebody,
or if you ever even cared about
you don't want to see them hurting.
No.
But my guess is that she probably did have a lot of anxiety and was pushing him for answers And I saw a lot of the text messages, they were very long. And so I know she was losing emotional self-control. Maybe he felt like he had to get mean to get her to leave him alone.
Here's my other thought. Let's think about this man's first relationship with a woman. Right? Wasn't he horribly abused by his mother?
Yep.
So
beat him with a hanger.
Beat him with a hanger. That's not good.
Until he got big enough to defend himself.
Yeah. So this man, you know, whether he realizes it or not, may not be really crazy about women, even though he needs them for certain things. He may not really like them.
No.
And I don't like the serial killer thing one bit.
What does that make you think?
It makes me think that he has some really aggressive feelings towards somebody, and hopefully he's able to deal with those by watching movies about serial killers. But he sounds like he has reason to be pretty angry, and he doesn't much like women. And he wants to watch a serial killer movie with a woman. It just makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think both of them should run in the other direction just as fast as they can. Yeah.
So do you think that when people are fascinated by movies like that, it could indicate something?
It could. I mean, if you're very, very angry, it might be lots of fun. I mean, that's why some people watch horror movies. A lot of abused people love horror movies because they can watch them and put the people who hurt them in the script, you know?
Yeah.
Think about the Texas Chainsaw Murders.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can do that and get a discharge from the fantasy, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that's great. But he doesn't sound emotionally literate to me. He sounds very basic, like he demands basic things. And given his anger, and I'm just guessing how he feels about women, that's pure speculation on my part, the serial killer thing does not make me feel real good. Okay?
And I don't think he was forthcoming or honest with her.
Ever. 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 And acted like she was crazy to have believed him.
Yeah, I mean, if he's trying to rewrite history. I never loved you. What I meant to say is this.
I really liked you a lot.
Yeah, I just cared for you. But you know, you never want to chase after somebody who's treating you like this and being so cruel to you. I mean, if somebody can do this to you, how can they love you?
They can't possibly.
Right?
They can't possibly. And if he follows the narcissistic pattern, he will eventually get destructive to her. That may or may not mean violent. I don't know how we could tell this poor lady that he's the last thing she wants or needs. I think it would be very hard for her to hear. She's just frightened to be without him.
Yep. You're right.
Right? And the first thing I want to say to her is you deserve better than this. You deserve to be treated better than this.
Absolutely.
Right.
And maybe he made you feel really good in the beginning, but a lot of narcissistic guys will do that.
Yeah, and they don't.
Or people, women will do it too.
Sure.
But when you really take a step back and look at the big picture of how he's treated you here and how he exited this relationship and how he's treated you,
as cruel as he could possibly think of how.
Maybe he's angry at mom and took it out on her.
That would be one of my speculations. Yeah.
So, please, if you find yourself in a situation where somebody is treating you like this and acting like this towards you, you've got to get yourself some help and move forward.
Yes.
You don't want to linger or beat yourself up and feel like this is your fault. Because I'm willing to bet he made her feel like this is her fault.
Oh, and he will continue to do that. That, you know, and if she's an anxious type, remember they always overvalue the other person and spend ages trying to figure out what they could have done differently. Okay? And I don't hear anything. He wants to change his life and he wants this and that, but I don't see any indication of he's saying, I haven't been fair, I don't know why I'm so angry all the time, I really need to do something different. He probably went out and got another girlfriend instead, having no regard for her feelings.
Yeah, he sounds very angry too, because remember he hated both of his jobs.
Yes, he does.
And so this guy just doesn't sound like he's really in a good place to be in a relationship with. And, you know, we don't know what he's done or hasn't done to work through his issues, but
it doesn't sound like much.
You know, to treat her so cruel after it doesn't seem like she did anything and be there for him.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it was a little smothering, but that I don't think constitutes any of the behavior that
No,
he did.
no. And I'm sure he's avoidant, but I hope that's all of it.
So please don't put yourself in situations where you're disrespected. You won't find love there.
No.
You won't find joy there. You won't find peace there.
Right.
Right?
And if you're anxiously attached, remember, not everything is your fault. Okay? It's very, very important that you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked with a woman just the other day, and I didn't think any of the breakup was her fault. I thought it was precipitated by her boyfriend's expectations by the family of origin.
Mm-hmm.
And she had made herself crazy trying to figure out how it was her fault and how if she had done something differently, it could be different. So don't beat yourself up. There are enough things in this world that we have to take responsibility for. For heaven's sake, don't take on extra ones.
Yeah.
Okay?
Margaret has tremendous experience when it comes to abusive situations like
Yes.
this, unhealthy, domestic violence situations, right?
Right.
And so if you are in a situation like that, Margaret has a lot of experience, far more than I do in that
Yes,
area.
yes.
And I highly recommend that be something you go with her on.
Right. You'd have to see what this woman's supports were. Why does he look good to her? I hate to think that he's the best she's had, but that could be the case.
Yeah.
And they did have a good time, which may have been, again, the best time she ever had. But this man is never going to have any of those qualities we've talked about today that would be a good thing in a partner. Mm-hmm. And he has no respect for the truth, I don't think.
No, it certainly doesn't look like it.
No.
All right, so hopefully you found this video helpful. Put a like on there for Margaret and I doing some research on a tough, difficult topic.
Yes.
And when you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching.
Yes, and I'd love to hear from you if I can be helpful.
And Margaret has, like I said, 35 years of experience, a lot in dealing with very difficult topics like this.
Yes.
And so I would highly recommend you go with her and talk with her, at least to come up with a plan and talk about what happened.
Yes.
So, that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net.